You click on the video because you might want to learn how to properly analyze your game. Maybe you would like to know how to identify your mistakes so you can fix them faster and improve your gameplay. The problem is that the majority of the players don't even review their games, and even if they sometimes do, they normally find a lot of mistakes without actually knowing what is the most important thing to improve fast. They find like 30 mistakes, but they have no idea what to fix first and how to fix them. Today, I'll be teaching you how to do a VOD review like a challenger player, and I'll share with you some of the most important things that you need if you want to get out of low elo, or maybe you want to push for master challenger rank. So let's get started. If this is the first time on the channel, my name is VODs and I'm a League of Legends coach with over 8 years experience, and I hit Challenger in Season 9. I have more than 2,500 of players coached on all roles with ranks between Bronze and Challenger. On this channel I will post videos for players that want to get better, so if you want to make sure you don't miss out any bit of content that will make you better from this channel, go ahead right now and subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Remember that what you're seeing right now is just a very limited part of my premium personalized coaching session that people want to book with me if they want to improve hard and climb very fast. Learn more about my coaching by the end of the video, or go to the description of the video right now to find out everything that you're gonna get. Enjoy the video. First of all, let's clarify what is actually a VOD review and how can we actually do it properly. So a VOD review is when you're analyzing your game with the purpose of finding your mistake. It could be finding your mistakes in terms of the champion, like if you hit kill shots, if you hit your combos, or just finding the fundamental errors in gameplay. So a VOD review again is when you are trying to look at your games again with the goal in mind of, hey, I want to see what I was doing wrong, I want to see what I did wrong in this particular game, so next game I'm not really going to. Many players, they either use OBS, they record their games and they do the VOD review after, or some of them actually, in majority of the cases, they just go onto the client and they look at their own gameplay by downloading the game from their match history. What is better? Well, it's very simple. Usually, if you're bronze, silver, gold, and low platinum to high platinum, in the majority of the cases, if you just replay, you download the replay, you download the game that you think that you did a lot of mistakes, and you just go through it, you will just be okay. Don't need to actually record your games. Yes, if you're a challenger player, master tier, diamond 1, even diamond 2, like kind of high elo-ish, then yes, the clicks are very, very, very important. Posturing, looking at the posturing of the enemy laner is very, very, very important. The camera control and like how you really potentially looking on the map is important if you're talking about diamond 2, diamond 1 and other elos. Looking at the wave states is very important in super high. Lower elos, it doesn't really matter. You're bronze, if you're bronze, silver or gold, you probably don't need to record your games to actually analyze them. You can, it's, you know, okay, it's going to help you a little bit more than the normal replay, but it's probably luxurious and it's not going to help you out. So it's very simple. If you are bronze, silver, gold, platinum, you shouldn't really look to review your games. Recording tool like OBS, and if you're high elo, then yes, you can do it. If you're challenger, then obviously it's so useful to do that through recording first your games and then analyzing. The first question that you want to have before going for the VOD review is that you want to ask yourself, why am I doing this VOD review? And it could be two reasons. One, maybe you want to master your champion better, like the champion identity, and here I talk about champion combo, I talk about skill shots accuracy, and I talk about abilities positioning. Whether you play, let's say you play Ari, you want to look at charms, let's say you play Thresh, you want to see how many hooks and flays you hit. So the VOD review can be focused on this champion identity thing, as in you do the VOD review to see if you played the champion. This is usually good for players that don't really have more than 50-60 games on their champion, or especially when you have like 10, 15, 20 games on the champion, you want to see how you can play the champion better. But obviously, if you want to climb out of low elo, mastering your champion is step number one if you want to do them properly. So if you want to start doing the VOD review, ask yourself, hey, am I here because I want to learn my champion better? Or the second reason why you could do a VOD review is that you want to find your mistakes in terms of the fundamentals. What do I mean by that? Well, it's very simple. Maybe you have problems with wave management. Maybe you have problems with the recall time. Maybe you have problems with the macro rotation. It could be the case. So if you have, let's say, 400 games, you're bronze, silver, 400 games on Kaisa, on Thresh, on Kha'Zix, on, and you're like, oh, what? Why am I not climbing? Why am I not? It's probably not because you don't know how to play your champion, but it's because you're doing some fundamental errors in your gameplay. So with that being said, first we can look at a VOD review with the goal in mind of looking what we could have done in terms of trading champions identity, like how we could have played the champion that we play better. And the second thing that you could do a VOD review, if you already have a very good proficiency on the champion that you're playing, you can look at the fundamental errors, macro rotations, wave management, and the laning fundamental. Two tips before we go into the next thing. One, every single time when you do the VOD review, try to specifically and analytically focus on one thing. If you really want to do the VOD review properly, don't just focus on everything. You're going to go into the VOD review and you're like, oh, I'm going to just analyze my mistakes. And let's see, did I do the wave management good? Did I recall at the correct time? Did I trade the correct times? Did I jungle track? No. One thing at a time. Think about, hey, this game I'm going to analyze my wave management and how I manage the waves, and that's all. When did I recall? When did I freeze? When did I push? If it was correct. I just specifically focus on those things because if I want to fix everything, I'm not going to really improve on nothing. So be very careful if you're trying to fix 10 things at a time. It's not going to work. The second tip that I will give it to you, and this is again for players that are below platinum or for players that are above platinum. From bronze to platinum, if you really want to do a VOD review properly, wave management matters a lot. Understanding your champion identity and trading patterns, that matter a lot. The macro rotations, these matter a lot. What do I mean by understanding your champion identity and trade patterns? Obviously, specific champions have specific combos. Let's say on Fizz, you need to be able to understand that you're strong at level 3. You need to be able to understand that you have 3 or 4 kind of traits that you have. The Q auto WE, or just starting with the Q and just backing off with the E, or just opening with the E and then queuing through a minion to go back off. Like, you need to actually know those patterns that your champion have. You need to know how to manage your waves. That's important. You need to know your champion. That's important. And you need to know, again, you need to have this ability to rotate at correct times on the review. Of course, if you're bronze, silver, or like high gold, probably wording, jungle tracking, complex freeze, tricks manipulation, cheater recalls, fake leash, those things are probably completely useless. They don't help you, you shouldn't really focus on them. So I can give you my example, guys. So when I was basically Diamond 2, I wasn't thinking about those things, but I was very, very good at farming. I knew when to recall properly. I know how to do a freeze. I really know like the fundamental basics of the game. I didn't focus on, oh, cheater recall, fake leash, or yeah, in Challenger it can help you, but if you're bronze and you're struggling and you're focusing on those things, it's probably those details are not going to help you at all if you don't really have the base, if you don't really have the fundamentals. So be very careful if you're like super low elo and you're focusing on those things. Of course, if you're Diamond 1 and you want to analyze your gameplay, then everything matters basically. Yes, you need to know when to fake leash, you need to know when to cheater recall, you need to know what is a cheater recall, you need to know when to do it. Like, you need to know basically everything. So if you're bronze to platinum, focus on recall timings, wave management, understanding your champion, and macro rotation. If you are above Diamond 1, you need to focus on all of the things above that I said and subtle things. I'll give you in a little bit a few examples so you can actually have a good idea about what I mean here. So in Diamond 1, of course, first you need to make sure your fundamentals are good. But since you are Diamond 1 Master tier already, then you should most likely just look at the subtle things, clicking, posturing, just very, very, very small details of the game. How did you play in relationship to the jungle matchup? Prio. You need to think about scaling. You need to think about draft. You need to think about those things. And try to, when you're going into the VOD review, another tip that I can give it to you is that you should be writing down the mistakes. And I don't really recommend you to just use a notepad through the digital computer, through your like notepad in your PC. I do recommend you to use like a notebook, and you can just write it down on a piece of paper, and it's much better if you're actually writing it down and you're like consciously, hey, I'm going to fix this fucking mistake next game. Look, it's right here. I write it down, and right now I'm going to fix it. So not use notepads on your PC. In the following example, I will show you how to do a VOD review in bronze, silver, gold, and platinum basically. So let's take a look right here what the MF Morgana into the Tristana and Lulu does right here in this current time. So Theoretically, against Tristana Lulu, when you play MF, you want to look to push the lane and chunk the Tristana really hard. You want to bully her, you want to use the Q to bounce it onto the minions. You want to look to trade very shortly, not too much, because Tristana usually wins the fights on a long period of time. Since she will have the E, so MF should understand that. Morgana should understand that if she throws her Q, she's going to waste her pressure, and she should mainly just look to stay into the brush, look to pressure, look to zone, look to get prio, while not pushing too hard. So this is basically what they need to do. If they slowly zone the Tristana and slowly poke her and chunk her through the bouncing with the Q of the MF, Tristana is going to be low HP, chunked, and she can't really do anything. So this is what the MF and Morgana should do. As you can see, they go into the laning phase, and the Morgana is absolutely inting with the Q instead of going to the brush, trying to stay here, constantly hitting the minions and holding her Q and using it as a source of pressure. She just throws it, misses it, and right now, of course, the Tristana is walking up trying to push the lane. We can see that MF tries to push, but the problem is that she doesn't really ping her support. That's another low elo mistake. She doesn't really ping the support, letting him know that, hey bro, I wanna push and I wanna get prio. So she didn't really ping. The second mistake that she does is that she doesn't really bounce the Q onto the Tristana. She bounced the Q on the minions, completely wasting her pressure right here. This is a very bad lane phase by the Morgana. We can see that Morgana didn't really hit the minions. She's backing off too much. She's throwing the Q when she shouldn't throw the Q. Right now, they didn't understand that they have to push. They didn't understand that they have to zone. They didn't understand how to throw their abilities and what to do with the wave. And obviously, it's so simple to see that Tristana gets priority right now, and boop, she jumps, she won the lane phase just because the MF was unable to play the game. We can see that multiple mistakes by Morgana. She even uses her E at level 2. This is so bad. The Tristana's E is doing physical damage, so even if you put the E on the MF, she's still going to get a lot of damage down. So this is absolutely inting from MF and Morgana, the way they play the lane. This is how you do a VOD review in low elo. The first 10 to 15 minutes are crucial. If you're low elo and you're thinking you're doing VOD review, jungle tracking, warding, or those things are not very important. If you're bronze, silver, gold, learn how to trade, learn how to manage your waves, learn when to recall. Try to think about, hey, how does my champion function? Like, what are my advantages? In this case, for example, MF should have traded poke with short trades, and MF should have traded long trades with all-in. MF didn't know that. This is why she's hard stuck in low elo. This is why she's not improving. It's because she probably going into the VOD review and thinking about late game, team fights, and other mistakes, which in low elo, this is absolutely useless. If you're doing a VOD review and you're thinking about jungle tracking, you're thinking about, late game team fights, I mean, you can be right, it can help you, but in majority of the cases, from my experience as a coach, usually the players that are below Platinum 3, they have big problems in the first 10-15 minutes. So what I will do if it was me, I would most likely, if I was silver or gold, I will only specifically VOD review the first 10 to 15 minutes. Right now, let's take a look to see how we can actually do a VOD review in Challenger Elo, Master Tier, Diamond 1, and even Diamond 3. Obviously, the mistakes are very subtle and they are going to be a little bit harder to actually identify. But usually, if you're a higher elo player, then you already have a lot of fundamentals built into your gameplay and you already know a lot about it. So let's take a look at this gameplay right now. So right now, this is basically a game from my Smurf queue. It's Tristana against, this is actually me, against Master Tier or Grandmaster, I can't actually say, Smurf Irelia. So right now she's going into the laning phase, and theoretically Tristana is extremely powerful at level 1. So she doesn't really want to walk up too far to follow like in this area, basically in this like around her minions. She just wants to play safe and chill. Thing is, right now this is good if you're doing a review until Platinum or until Diamond 1. This kind of analysis is good. Want to analyze, hey, what does Tristana wants to do? Tristana wants to trade at level 1, Aurelia wants to punish. But if you're Grandmaster or Challenger, you need to do, the level of the detail is not bigger. It's just not like just only the fundamental idea about the lane. So right here, if she was smart, she wouldn't really play super safe. We can see that the posturing of the Aurelia is bad. Why is it bad? It's bad because she's respecting way too much. What should she do right here? Well, she should basically stay right here in the middle, well, right here, like right behind of her minions. So in this position, if the Aurelia is doing the VOD review, what should she say right now? So she should be like, hey, this is really, really bad. Like the posturing of Aurelia is very, very bad. It's because the Tristana right now, she does have the W level 1 because she saw that the Tristana jumped right here at level 1 a little bit ago, but that's not even a problem. The problem is that the Aurelia should actually go right here to bait Tristana to go and walk up and hit her, and if Tristana is so stupid right here, she's going to hit her, and if Aurelia is right here, obviously Tristana can't really hit her for a long period of time. She's probably going to get 1 maximum 2 auto attacks, wasting the Halo Blades that the Tristana have, and getting the aggro of the minions in the lane phase. So if the analysis of the VOD review is in silver, Aurelia played it good, and usually if you do this as Aurelia level 1, you're good. But if this is Challenger, Grandmaster, then you need to do better. The level of detail should higher by a lot. So right here, Aurelia should walk up just a little bit to stay in between, like right here, to bait out Tristana, to juggle, to go and to wiggle a little bit, to go up, to go down, to go up, to go down, so she can bait Tristana out to hit the Aurelia. Tristana is going to get the aggro of the minions, wasting Halo Blades, and then Aurelia has a breathing room to eventually kill the minions, because obviously Tristana doesn't really have Halo Blades, so it's much easier to play the lane. So this is basically how we do a VOD review in super high elo, or if you're analyzing, let's say, pro players. The subtle mistakes about posturing, about how they want to play the game, the detail, I should be there. Obviously, if you're Diamond 1 Master Tier, you should take into consideration still recoil timings, wave management, and the other aspects. But what's going to make the difference between, let's say, Challenger 1k LP with Challenger 500 LP is those very, very subtle mistakes that you don't even probably see. Many players actually struggle a lot finding their mistakes, and in most of the situations, even though they identify their mistakes, they either don't have a very simple action plan to fix them, or the moment they go into the next game, they do the same mistakes over and over again. I already helped over 2,250 people getting better and fix their mistakes in League of Legends. Do you want to see what you're doing wrong and actually start improving? Go ahead and book your own personalized coaching session and start getting better easy. I'll see you in the session.